And we are live, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome. Good evening to all of you. You are watching the MKUltra show. I am, of course, as always, your host, Carter M. Nelson. I've got a big show tonight. It was a slower news day, but still a lot of very, very exciting stuff to go ahead and get into tonight. So, yeah, incredibly excited. And it's all stuff that I'd like to point out that I predicted just 3 days ago on Monday. It's exactly what I said would happen. The DSA sweep is not ending in New York. In fact, I even called the state it was going to happen next, my home state of Colorado. The DSA is not going anywhere. No, no, they have complete and total authority right now. They are the ones pushing. They are the ones making ends meet, making something happen. In other news, a man was shot in the Walmart parking lot by a obese black woman. This man was an older fella, a veteran of the United States, and a black woman got upset with him over a parking spot in Walmart. Shoots him dead in Florida. So, yeah, that's kind of the situation we have going on right now. It's a black pilling type of show. It's incredibly sad. It's tragic, one might even say. But yeah, so this guy, he's just in the parking lot. Apparently, from the current reports we have, these two get into a dispute over a parking spot. The woman pulls a gun on him. Again, just picture this fat, obese, whale-looking black woman. Disgusting, foul beast. Pulls a gun on the guy. He turns around. Older dude, looks like he's kind of limping around a little bit. He turns back around, takes a couple steps towards her. Bang, bang. Takes him out. She shoots him dead in the parking lot. And then she calls police, and she's entirely convinced that she's going to get away with this on self-defense. But what? And you have the same classic black crowd you had with Carmelo Anthony defending the actions of this woman. It's like, well, surprise, surprise. They always take their side, and that's something that we could probably learn from every single other group in the world. You ever notice how they always take their own side? Wouldn't that be nice if our people did that every once in a while? Like, come on. If we see something like that happening, wouldn't it be maybe good if we took our own people's side? Instead, we have this weird mechanism where we decide we should always have sympathy for everybody else. We have this massive self-hatred complex that was put onto us from an early age through both our education system, through Hollywood, everything that they promoted. It's a clear attack on, might I say, white America. My white boys, stand up. Look what's going on. These black women are shooting dead in the street. And no, no, nothing's gonna happen. Nothing ever happens. Best case scenario is this woman at least gets prosecuted. I think that's probably the way it should go. Now, this was a pretty conservative state, so I think the odds are good. On the bright side, I think the odds are very good that she gets prosecuted. But still, it's just like, what is going on? We have an issue with these people, clearly. Can we not do anything about it? Please? Because I'm tired of it. How is anybody out there in the world not tired of it, right? How many people do we have to watch get shot by this specific group of people? How many crimes must they commit before we say, hey, maybe it's not the low economic status. Maybe. I don't know. When I see the statistics that are saying that the average black man in the highest tax bracket is still more likely or just as likely to commit a crime as a white man in the lowest income bracket, I say maybe it's not the income. Maybe it's not the economical status. Oh, they're not getting the good lunches. They're not getting the good lunches. Well, I don't think it's the lunches. If they're doing it everywhere, I don't think it's the lunches. When none of them can read, I don't think it's the lunches. Maybe there's a reason they can't read. Maybe there's a reason that in this community there are so many illiterates, so many criminals. It might not be the rap music, guys. Maybe the rap music is an extension of the culture that represents them instead of what is creating and garnering the culture. Crazy idea. Like, they're not all bad, there's plenty of good ones, but I'm not racist. I love even the bad ones. But, come on. Like, if this is the stuff that they always lean towards, which is violence, criminal activities, maybe it's because that's part of who they are instead of the culture that we made for them. Maybe it's not always the white man putting them down, and maybe, hear me out, they put themselves down. Just a thought. Just a thought. It's a perplexing idea, really. Truly a perplexing idea. Something that I'm sure they can't wrap their heads around. No, no. In all seriousness, like, sure, yeah, we got plenty of good people everywhere. It's all jokes. It's all jokes. I love them all. Christian here. We love all of them. But still, there is a clear, legitimate pattern and problem, and it should be recognized and it should be solved. How we go about recognizing and solving that? That's another story. How do we convince people that, hey, this isn't an issue with a group. This isn't just a social economic issue. Like, that's what we have to convince people of. Because instead of actually addressing the problem and stop tailoring to these people, instead, our opposition prefers to just import more of them and say, oh, it's because they're the minority. They are lashing out. We need to import more of them. And then our people, our guys, for whatever reason, they seem to refuse to get rid of them, fight back. Maybe, just maybe, it would be in our best interest to send these people back. Just a thought, just a thought. But no, our opposition just wants to keep them coming in. And I think it's just a terrible idea. A terribly skewed idea that is only going to result in the continued destabilization of our nation. And I, as somebody who actually loves our nation and loves our people and care about the well-being of our people first, I'm sorry that your country's a shithole. I'm sorry that your people weren't able to manufacture a culture as good as ours. That doesn't give you the right to come here and burn our flag, shoot our people dead in the streets. No. And I don't think this woman was an immigrant. I believe it was just a fat black woman. But still, it's still a representation of what's going on, right? It's still a people of a different culture and a different processing system who see the world very differently from us and hate our nation and hate our people and act upon that. So really, like, these problems, they mold together. The longer you look at them, the more they mold together. But before I get too carried away with that, I will go ahead and jump into our headliner. Again, it'll be a shorter show tonight. Not a lot going on, but this is a huge story. And again, something I predicted days ago. But before I get into it, I would just like to ask any of you guys watching, please like and subscribe. It really, really helps out. Leave a comment, I will respond. So yeah, it is a massive boost to what we're trying to build here. And if we're going to fight about against what I'm about to talk about in the next segment of the show, our headliner, we kind of need voices who are willing to step up and say whatever, even if it's not politically correct, even if it puts themselves at risk. We need people who will step up and say, no, we're not doing this bullshit anymore. That's what we need. So please just support the movement, help out, like, subscribe. Again, I really appreciate it. But moving on to the headliner, the DSA, they took a Colorado primary. Colorado District 1 goes to Malaya Quiros, who defeats 15-term incumbent Diana DeGette. Now, Malaya Quiros, let me give you a little bit of a background on this woman. This is an Ethiopian-born woman. No, no, she's not native. Not native. Gen Z. So a really young Ethiopian-born woman. Not even an American. Hard-lined democratic socialist. Extremist. Leftist radical. Openly associated with voices like Hassan Piker. A man who, if you guys don't recall, openly put his dog through shock therapy essentially on stream. I mean, he's just teasing the crap out of his dog. An absolutely sick, disgusting man. And this is who this woman is associating with. So though that I'll just give you that. To add on to this, let me read off a little statement that she made. This is a direct quote from her. 9/11 was inevitable in the sense that we destabilized a lot of the Middle East, that forced people to believe that another act of violence was necessary. That woman is without a doubt about to be in our Congress. Again, like I said, she won Colorado District 1, and that would be the Denver area of Colorado. She won the Democratic primary. That area is a solid blue county. There is zero chance. Like I wouldn't even say non-zero. It's just a zero chance that a Republican takes it. She is going to win the county. She is going to be in the House, and this is a woman who openly hates America. This is a woman who is not from America. She is, by the way, an incredibly ugly Ethiopian at that. At least some of these democratic socialist women, like AOC, is she a dumb bitch? Yeah. Yeah, of course. But is she kind of cute? Yeah, of course. At least she has that going for her. Whatever happened to Ronna doing that strategy? I liked that more. Like, if you're gonna put a dumb woman into office, can she at least be kind of cute? Like, when AOC says something stupid about hating America, it's like, aw, she's just a little dummy. She's just a dumb woman. Like, there's like something sympathetic about her. She's got like the big puppy eyes. And there's something sympathetic about how special needs she presents herself because she's cute. This woman, just an extremely ugly Ethiopian. So when she comes out and she's the one saying that she hates America, it's totally different. Totally different. Because she's just so chopped, man. If we're gonna get Gen Z women into politics, can we at least pick the cute ones? If we're not gonna pick the smart ones, can we at minimum pick the cute ones? Damn it, guys. What are we doing? But again, this woman openly hates America. This woman, in a way, defended the terrorist attack on the Twin Towers. And don't get me wrong, I'm not somebody that's going to shut down a 9/11 discussion openly. I don't necessarily think that it was the Muslims necessarily. I think there might have been some Israeli ties with 9/11. I think that's a legitimate argument that can be made. There's a legitimate argument that America let it happen as an excuse to go to war in the Middle East on behalf of Israel, because to go to war, we needed another Pearl Harbor. And 9/11 was another Pearl Harbor. But that's not why this woman's talking about 9/11. She's talking about it because the way she views it is, well, she views it as we are these Western colonizers who deserve bad things to happen to us because of the way that things have happened in other nations. I'm sorry, but the Middle East was a violent shithole before America went there. Did we make it worse? I'm not going to disagree with that. Do I think we should necessarily be in the Middle East? No. However, I will recognize the importance of good relations because of the oil dependency we have on the region. But still, I don't think that we should be, bombing children, right? But this is a totally different framework. This is a totally different way of viewing things. And this is why I've been saying we can't be allying with these liberal anti-Israelis because they're insane people. They hate our country. We are anti-Israel. It's important to remember this. We are anti-Israeli because we love America. We want America to always be put first. We are tired of putting our money and our resources into a foreign nation. We are tired of watching our young men die on behalf of a foreign nation. It's entirely about a fair of America. The reason the liberals and these democratic socialists hate Israel is because they view Israel as an extension of the American colonization machine. They view us as colonizers who use Israel to take advantage of the native people living in the Middle East. Those are two totally different frameworks of viewing things. Like, I love America. I think this is the greatest nation in the world. I fully believe we have one of the coolest histories. I love my ancestors. I love our people's history. I love my European ancestors. I love it. I love my history. I love America's history. I don't necessarily have an issue with colonization because I believe it's spreading a good thing. I believe our culture is the best. And for that reason, I see colonization, and I don't necessarily have an issue with it. When I start to have an issue with it is when we're the ones being colonized by the Israelis. That's the issue I have when we're being taken advantage of. And that's the difference between my framework, your framework, with these democratic socialists. And that's why we can never, ever be their allies. It's not something that's reasonable to do. But yeah. So Melet Kiros, she wins District 1. And let me give you a little story about Denver and the Denver area, just to give you an idea of why a candidate like a Democratic Socialist wins there. So I am a Colorado native myself. I live not terribly far away from Denver. I don't live like in the suburbs or anything around it, but I don't live terribly far from it. On multiple occasions, I was in Denver as a, younger guy, and I'm walking around, and you will go down these stairwells, and there's just human crap in every single corner of these stairwells. Literal just piles of human feces. That's the type of place we're talking about. Denver is a shithole. You walk around the street and you find needles all over the ground, homeless people lining the streets. It's one of the places I felt the most unsafe in my entire life at night. Denver is a terrible area. And anybody that's from Denver that's not sick in the head can tell you the same. Nobody thinks Denver's a nice place. Everybody knows you don't walk around Denver at night. It's a bad idea. People don't do it. That's why almost all of the people you will see out at night in the Denver areas, it's all homeless people. That's the type of place we're talking about. And it's only getting worse as Denver's become a sanctuary city for hundreds and hundreds of illegal immigrants. And that's the situation we've gotten ourselves into. And the last thing they need is a democratic socialist who hates this country, who isn't from here, coming in and telling the Denver residents how to live. She's going to come in here and she's going to promise all this free crap, and all it's going to do is incentivize the homeless, which will spread the homeless population. More of the homeless people in the Colorado area will flock to there, and Denver will become unlivable. We will be losing our business centers there. This can only harm us. And yet the people are so diluted with this anti-Israeli talk that they can't understand, hey, maybe we shouldn't be voting for democratic socialists. And that's what they've done so well. They've taken the anti-Israeli issue and turned it into a democratic socialist issue. And like I was talking about on the show Monday, they are using that to win every single election. That is exactly what Kuros did to defeat, again, a solid member of the House. Not solid in her voting history, but solid in terms of her position was seemingly moderately safe at least. A 15-term incumbent. 15 terms she served. And she gets taken out by this young Ethiopian, ugly Ethiopian woman because of the Israeli issue. And that's what it came down to. That was the deciding factor. And it was a huge upset because the political world isn't quite ready for how big this is going to sweep the nation. So, yeah, and the Republican Party, of course, we have no counter to this, as always. It's always the Democrats that are on the front foot. Again, exactly what I was saying on Monday. You really should go and watch that show, because I already covered a great deal of this ahead of time for what happened in New York, because it was incredibly clear that it was going to happen again, and it was clear where it was going to happen, and that's why I predicted it. That's why I did it. All right, so that's the Republican Party needs something to step up. We need some kind of counter. We can't always be on our back foot. And that's why young Gen Z men like me are tired of the modern Republican Party who just is a decade behind Always. The Republican Party is not the conservation party, it is the slightly slower liberal party. That's why, again, as I've said in previous shows, Donald Trump was the first president ever elected that was pro LGBT during his candidacy. Barack Obama in 2008 ran saying we would not allow it. But the Democratic Party decides it's okay, and then just a couple years later, the Republican Party follows, because the Republican Party just follows the moderates. Because they know the conservatives will vote for whoever is just slightly more conservative. So they just kind of go the way of the moderates. Well, the Democratic Party is constantly pushing the pen, which is why they're able to run far left radicals, and we're not. And this is shaping across the country. This is a quote from The Hill. In the Economist slash YouGov poll, 29% of respondents said they would be willing to cast their ballot for a Democratic Socialist. 45% said they wouldn't, and 26% were unsure. We're nearing a third of this nation saying that they would vote for a Democratic Socialist. That's the majority makeup of the Democratic Party, if we're assuming. I would imagine it's only Democrats who would say that. Who else would say they would vote for the far left? Not going to be any Republicans. So that's over half of the Democratic Party is now radicals. Do you know how motivated I would be if the same came out for the right-wing radicals? For the Groypers? We know a third of the nation isn't a Groyper. I'd love to say it was true, but we know it's not. But a third of them are Democratic Socialists now. And that's what happens when you're always behind. That's why I started this show 5 years ago. Now, obviously, this is like the first week I've actually done the live show, but 5 years ago, I started doing political content because I saw this shit coming. I saw that the socialist rise was coming. I saw the liberalization of the people around me. I knew the stakes of what we were fighting for. I understood that we were fighting for the very thing that makes America so great. For our people, for our history, for our ancestors. That is what makes America such a wonderful place. It was us that built it. It was the American man, the American dream, which was built upon the legacy of his European forefathers. The men who built Rome live inside of us. The men who built Rome live inside of us. And we're going to throw it away because of a bunch of illegal immigrants coming in here casting ballots for other immigrants who are coming from their home nations, who are coming here vowing to destroy what makes America a great place. And they do it by promising free shit. They do it by appealing to the man who does not work. They do it by appealing to the motherfucker who will vote for whoever offers them free shit because they don't understand the struggle of the middle class, disenfranchised white man. Nobody understands it because nobody is really a disenfranchised white man in politics anymore. By the time these actors into the political world, they are stupidly rich. They have disassociated themselves with the middle class man's problems. Many of these political commentators are coming from. They are coming from rich families. They do not understand the problem of the middle class man. We are the middle class. We are the disenfranchised white man. I understand you because I am you. I am a small creator who is throwing everything down the drain, putting his entire life at risk because he gives a shit. That's what I represent. This is what America is. We are America. We do not want these ugly fucking Ethiopians destroying what is so beautiful about our great nation. No, no, we want to build something greater. We desire Rome. We dream of the Roman Empire that we could have. No, it gets thrown away because our neighbors have been convinced by the mainstream that the only solution is to have complete apathy for everybody, let them in, allow them to destroy our nation because it's our duty because we destroyed their nations first. And that's exactly what someone like Kiros is saying when she's saying 9/11 was inevitable because what we did to the Middle East, we deserve pain because we conquered these people. We deserve pain because these people's inability to keep up with us is our fault. We deserve pain because we are ahead of the curve. No, no, I don't want that. I know you don't want that. So many years I have spent fighting against this very thing. Now it's on our doorstep. Now we're out of time. And what's our response to this? It's nothing. How many people are actually openly out here as right-wing radicals? You can't. Because the left successfully moved the needle so far that you can barely be a conservative openly without having your job at risk, without having your education at risk. While on the other end, you can be a left-wing radical, a supporter of Mao Zedong, a supporter of Stalin. You can be a follower of Hassan Piker who openly hates our country, and you will be celebrated in the public space as a radical savior. That's what the left wing did over the last decade, over the last 2 decades, over the last century, really. And that's what happens when it's the conservative party that is not the ones ever on the offense. This is the position that we put ourselves in. So long, so long, so many of us have been open and sacrificing to prevent this very thing, but it hasn't been enough, and now time's running out. It's time to do something. It's time to make a legitimate change. It's time for the right wing to start pushing forward to take away what the DSA is doing and take it for ourselves. It's time for us to start working in the small community, prove that our ideas work, and then take it to the national. That's what we must do. Win over the little guy, win over the white middle class man. Make him realize what they are stealing from him. Make him realize what his ancestors promised for him. Allow him to become the man he was supposed to be. Leave behind the legacy that those who came before him got to leave. Leave something better for his child. We must be the party which represents a growing number of disenfranchised white men and prove that our ideas work locally and take it to the national level. Our only response so far to all of this has been a guy like James Fishback. But it's not looking great on the Florida front, I gotta be honest with you. I was watching the PBD interview. I mean, I love the guy. I love the guy. I I really hope he wins. I really, really hope he wins because we need it. We need it more than ever. This is the time we need it. But you look on that podcast, and I mean, the poll on the end of the debate, 79% agreed that Fishback won. Here's the issue: the leading candidate, Byron Donalds, wasn't even present. He doesn't. He said he won't even debate because he's so far ahead in the official polling right now. So sure, Fishback got overwhelming support there, but almost everybody watching it was only watching it for him because they were already a Fishback supporter. And even there was a massive split of people a-logging Fishback, supporting Jay Collins, saying, "Ah, I just hate this Fishback guy." That's your conservatives, ladies and gentlemen, and was all these old white women. They're scared to do something real. They're scared to make a legitimate change. They are scared to push for a brighter future for our nation. They are terrified with the idea that, hey, maybe we can't just do something because it's nice all the time. Maybe we have to consider putting our people first, putting our children first, and putting our future first. Fishback in Florida is representing putting Florida first. Still, you have Florida Floridians who are against this, and these aren't even like radical left wing Floridians. These are your conservative Republican Party Floridians. Sick of it. Sick of it. We need something better. We need something greater. But, you know, on that note, I am going to start wrapping up this stream. Again, I greatly appreciate all of you for watching this. We need change now. We need the Republican Party to get the boot out of their ass and start working. Because there's never been a greater time for the radical. Ever. Ever has there been a greater time for the radical. The people have woken up to Israel. It's just the DSA are the ones that got to take advantage of it. So now we're going the radical left wing direction. Do you want illegals everywhere you go? Because guess what? This woman, Heroes, who just won in Denver, you know one of the things she ran on? The complete destruction of ICE. Do you want illegals everywhere? Do you want pride celebrations everywhere you go? Or are you as sick of this shit as I am? Because if you are, go get involved in local elections. Go do something for your community. And we need to start showing that we're the ones who care and that our ideas work. It's time to stop talking all the time and start taking action. It's time to be the action takers. It's time to be the ones with the sword in our hands, with our opponent on their back foot, instead of being the ones with a shitty little cardboard shield on the edge of a cliff. Because I'm tired of it and I'm sick of it. But yeah, if you enjoyed the show, please again like and subscribe. It greatly helps out the movement. I really appreciate all of you guys for watching, but yeah, that's gonna do it for me tonight. So long, God bless, and peace out.